Hey everybody, welcome to the Suburban Stitcher podcast. This is episode 82, I believe. I'm recording this on Friday, February 5th, 2016. I don't know why I had to think about that. I am recording in the morning. The light feels way better to me. I got my old webcam to work, which was my good webcam that I loved, and just sort of feeling like everything is back to normal. So I'm really excited about this time. I'm excited about the day. I feel like a walking Patchwork Threads ad right now. It's kind of am, which is pretty much my casual work at home everyday wardrobe is pretty much an advertisement for either stately type or Patchwork Threads, which is where I get most of my t-shirts and things from. So if you're ever wondering, I'm happy to answer a specific question about them, but typically Patchwork Threads or stately type, and you can follow them on Instagram. I'm going into work in a little bit, but I am still pre-makeup and second cup of tea in this mug that I love. I got this at the Kid and You Fiber Festival last November. It's a pale pinky mauve background with sheep, and it's a cute little short mug. I love it. My husband doesn't like that it's hand wash only, but oh well. And I am drinking some blueberry hibiscus tea that I absolutely adore. So let's see if I can set this over here without totally rocking the whole thing. Okay. So I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants today. Didn't really make show notes. I don't have a lot to talk about, just because I have been busy sewing and I've been doing a lot of knitting, but I've been very monogamous. So it makes me feel like I don't have a lot to talk about, even though I've been doing a lot of knitting. So there's, that like, I'm feeling like I want to be monogamous though right now, which is great. So the first thing I want to talk about is the Rainbowalong is going. If y'all have not taken a look at the finished objects thread, you absolutely must. Every day new projects pop up and they are so beautiful and so inspiring and so happy. So please go over there and just take a look at that because it is just amazingly fun to look at. I did get the last prize in for the Rainbowalong, and this is a prize that is from a new to me vendor. It is Michelle from Maple Moose Fibers. She just opened an Etsy shop and she has been selling bags, on through her Facebook page for quite a while, but she has just opened an Etsy shop officially, so congratulations on that. So she sent me a bag and one for a giveaway. So this is the one that is for the giveaway. It is her medium-sized bag. It has the handle right here in the coordinating fabric. I love her little tag. It's a little ribbon with a moose. Can you see that? A little hand-stamped moose. And I love the little rainbow kind of bright colored robots. It's perfect. And this definitely, this is the other cute little part. She's Maple Moose Fibers, and so all of her bags have a little moose zipper pull. So it's a zippered bag. It's got a really cute coordinating orange liner, and then it also looks like one of these that you can fold over and have stand up on its own so that you can just knit out of it like that, which is really great. It's got interfacing in it, but it's not so sturdy that you can't shove it in a purse. It's still very pliable, which I really like. It's probably similar to the kind that I use for my bags. And then she also sent along a needle DPN cozy holder thing with her tag, of course, Maple Moose Fibers. And this is in a really pretty floral. So thank you, Michelle, so much. So this is a prize for one lucky winner of the Rainbow Cal. And I'm going to put this back. This is my little basket of prizes over there so that I can keep everything sorted. And then she was also so generous and sent along one for me. She told me I could choose, and when I saw this, it was no contest because this is the one that I wanted. I loved the pastel colors. So it's got these awesome vintage typewriters on it. This one's a little bit shorter, a little bit smaller than the other bag. It does have the little coordinating pull that's like the typewriter buttons. The inside is the typeface. How cute is that? And then a coordinating needle case. So thank you so much, Michelle. I'm in love with it. I'm pretty sure that some socks are going to be going in this very shortly. So thank you. That's a little bit of Hello Lovelies, but it's really business talk as well, right? So let's get into the knitting portion. Finished objects. I finished the whip because, okay, well, I'll get into that in a minute, but I finished this pair of socks, Kama Sutra. This is by Mustache Yarn, the Kama Sutra colorway. It is a 20 stripe Kama Sutra. It was her OCD kit, so you can see that they start and finish and transition at exactly the same spot. They are, I mean, literally almost row for row matching, and this one is not just because it's slouching down, but they are, I love that view. It's like, yay, perfect stripes. I used I think it's Barocco sock or something, but it's a kind of half wool, half acrylic actually, sock yarn that I just had in some stash for an accent. I really like it. I like the black. I wish I would have done this taller, but I am pretty sure that it's because of the black yarn that I didn't do that on the first one. Knitting with black yarn is hard, yo. It's very hard. But these are done. They were my oldest whip. What I have been doing lately, and it's sort of part of my monogamous knitting and part of my, as you get older and been knitting for longer, I feel like it's easier to rip things out because you just know that it's just knitting. Whereas when you're learning and you're new, there's so much energy and effort put into every single stitch because you're thinking about it so much and you have fewer stitches under your belt, if that makes sense, I guess. So that each one is like, I mean, it's almost like you take it personally when you have to rip something out. It's like, oh, you just beat up my child or something. I don't know. But now as I've knit more, I can look at something and go, oh, I'm so out of love with that, and just rip it with no, like, it doesn't even bother me one bit. I had a shawl that I started out of this hot pink lace yarn, which the shawl would have been gorgeous in this, but I hadn't knit on it in over a year, so clearly I wasn't in love with it anymore, so I just ripped it out. I didn't need to have it as a whip. So I'm getting better at that. So kind of what I've been doing is, allowing myself to start new projects as I want to, of course, because that's fun. But as I finish up a new project, I have been going back to the oldest whip. My stomach is growling. I hope y'all cannot hear that. Oh my gosh, seriously. As I finish a whip, I kind of go back to that oldest project and say, okay, do I love this anymore? It's been a long time since I've looked at you. Am I still in love with you? Do I want you? Do I want to work on you now? And if my answer is no, I don't want to work on you now, then I'm pretty sure it's going to be no, I don't want to work on you even in a month, and then another month. And so then I'm able to rip it out kind of with no fear. And that's really freeing. It's a really great place to be. So this was the oldest whip, and I wanted it. I wanted to work on it. It was perfect for the Rainbowalong, and so I finished them up. So those are done. So that is really great, and that is sort of my explanation as to how I'm dealing with my older whips and still working in new ones. And I would love to hear how y'all do it. If you have a different method or, just something different that you do, I would love to hear how you work with kind of keeping the balance between working on old whips, paring down what you have cast on but you aren't in love with anymore, and then being able to balance that with casting on new things at the same time. And I'm just trying to get to the end of this row so that I can show you. But I have been, again, working on old whips, this isn't the oldest, but this was pretty old. And it also is Rainbowalong, so it's perfect. I had finished this first sock tube. It doesn't have a heel yet, but I finished this sock tube sometime last year, I think last fall. And I cast on the second sock last week, maybe. I don't know, maybe, I don't remember what day. Maybe it was this week. I don't know, a few days ago. It hasn't been that long ago. So I am almost, I think I have one more stripe repeat, yep, until I get to the ribbing. So I'm doing quite well. This monogamous knitting, it's getting things done. It's so exciting. And I don't feel like I'm cheating myself. The excitement of new things all of the time was so strong before that's why I have so many works in progress. But right now I am really enjoying just knowing what I'm going to work on and knowing, okay, this is it, and being content with that, which is very strange for me, but I'm going with it. So I just have one little stripe repeat and then the ribbing and then the heels, and these are done. So these will definitely be done by the next podcast. They probably will be done before the end of the weekend, maybe even before the start of the weekend. So I'm very pleased with how these are coming along. And these are hanging out in my coffee sock sack by Studio in the Green, which I just love. I could sing praises about her bags forever. And second to mine, they are my favorite. Because of course mine are my favorite. But my go-to vendor, if I'm going to purchase bags, is Michelle at Studio in the Green. I love hers. So another work in progress that I did work on a little bit since last time is my Rosewater shawl. And this, if you will remember, oh my gosh, my stomach. And if it's growling and y'all hear it, I'm so sorry. You're just going to have to deal with it today, I guess. I hate that for you and for me because I'm hungry. But anyway, this is out of Lone Star Arts Lucky Leprechaun. And look at that. My old camera is back that focuses. Isn't that wonderful? This is the Mockingbird Base 100% Superwash Merino, 438 yards, 100 grams. I am knitting the Rosewater shawl. And so this is the shawl that has the garter stitch top and then kind of the lacy bottom. And so this is the yarn that I'm using. This is that Lone Star Arts. It is called the Lucky Leprechaun in the gray. And it's a grayish mauve background with these splashes of rainbow speckles and colors and things, which are very pretty. It just doesn't want to. Let's see if it does it now. Nope. I'm gonna have to get used to this again. I haven't used this camera in so long. Okay, I will quit playing with it. So I have completed the garter stitch top, and I am on to the lace section. And it's really kind of lacy, kind of drop stitches, kind of a combination therein, which is fun. So I'm really loving how this is coming out. It's going to be, even though it's rainbow, it's also going to be sort of neutral, and we'll go with everything because it's got every color in it, but not to where you look at it and go, oh, that's a red shawl. It just sort of looks neutral. Like there's absolutely no pink in it. But I just feel like it's going to be, it would match this. So I love that about it. My plan, and I weighed this, okay, so this was 100 grams. I didn't weigh it when I started it, but going off of 100 grams to start approximately, I had 69 grams left when I finished the garter stitch top. So 69 grams to do the lace portion. Well, I kind of feel like that's more than enough. And so I'm weighing it because you kind of repeat things a couple of times, and I'm going to weigh it after each repeat to see how much I'm using, because depending on how much yarn I have left, I may do an extra repeat at the end to make it a little bigger and to use up every last little bit of this yarn. I love big shawls, but I looked at the project pictures for this one, and there were some people that, they used one skein and it still looked like a big, one that was wrappable. I don't like wearing ones where the ties just sort of barely end here. I want big, cozy shawls and wraps. That seems to be what I'm into lately and what I feel more comfortable wearing. So I'm hoping that I can get an extra repeat out of this and make it even just that much longer. So we'll see, but it's going well. This will get some more attention after those rainbow socks are done. So that is it for my works in progress this week. I know, 2 things. And this is in a little skein in the big wool bag. It was some Japanese Alice in Wonderland fabric that she had. And so anything Alice in Wonderland has to come live with me. All right. Hello, lovelies. I received my Desert Vista Dye Works skein of yarn that was the winning for completing last year. There were 41 skeins of these made. I didn't think there were that many people that finished it, but obviously she had other things she was doing. But there were only 41 skeins of this yarn, and I think there were 30 some odd finishers. So it's really, really awesome. I love, anytime you have something that's exclusive, you feel in the club. So so that's really fun. But it's this gorgeous, just knockout neon bright, intense rainbow yarn, and I have seen it knit up. Some people are knitting it up for the February club, and I think I'm going to as well. It's rainbowy. It fits in perfect for this month. I don't think I'm going to use the accent skein. I think I'm going to save that and use it for something else, but I am going to knit this for my February socks because I haven't started those yet because monogamy. And then the other thing, oh, no, there is one more thing that I didn't show. I joined for 3 months, I think January, or maybe it's February, March, and April. Or maybe it's January, February, March. I don't remember, but 3 months. I am in the Sucra Miniatures Charm or, marker or whatever of the month club. And February's marker was a little conversation heart. So that came in super sweet. Mine is a green. It's not going to want to focus. Mine is a green conversation heart with XOXO, and then on the back it has a little sparkly jewel on it. So that was really fun to be able to use. So that came in this time. So that was free yarn. That was a Stitch Marker Club. And then I did get some new yarn. In my defense, no makers. Enough said, right? I didn't have any in stash. I've used her yarn only once before, and I loved it. I used it almost right away. I made some Halloween socks out of, I think, Gnomes of the Corn is the colorway. But I purchased one skein of her Little Bunny Foo Foo sock yarn on, this is the House Gnome base. So it's a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, which is my favorite base to knit socks on. And so it's this really pretty pastels, Eastery color, little bunny foo-foo. And I purchased one skein of Do You Love Me, which is pinks and purples and grays. Of course. So those are two things that I got. That is my Hello Lovelies this week. I think that's it for the show. I did want to say that, y'all, I have had so little time just in general at home this week, which means so little time sewing, which means that my time for sewing the bags that are part of kits and other commitments for other people and other things has taken up all of my work time, all of my sewing time. A big one should be out of the house this week, and then I really hope to be able to have some things for y'all in the shop. I do apologize. I know it's been a few weeks, and I'm so sorry about that. I know that there are several people that have been looking for things, but I do have some plans to make a couple of Eastery spring-themed bags and a couple of, or one for sure, St. Patrick's Day. So be on the lookout for those. I'm very excited for those to be up and coming. And I think that is it. I can't remember the last time I had a podcast this short. One thing I will do at the end, I took some video this morning of my kind of where I sit and cross stitch, and also my stitching stand and kind of how I have everything set up. I really hope that it makes sense. When you're taping yourself sort of with the camera right here and trying to show it, it's close up and it feels a little strange, but I'm going to put that in at the end. And if you have questions about it, feel free to comment on the Ravelry group. I'll be happy to answer them as I can. So thank y'all so much. Have a lovely week. I love talking with y'all. I love chatting with you in the threads, and I will see you soon. Bye, guys. So I just wanted to make this little video because I've gotten several questions lately about where I stitch and how I stitch and Q-snaps, and I just kind of wanted to show you my little method. First, before we get to that, I also want to mention, just because I see it right there, that little picnic basket is full of it's my blanket square projects. So I'm going to try not to be too shaky while I do this. I'm so sorry, guys, but I think it's almost inevitable. Okay, so when I'm stitching, I'm pretty much in this chair. As you can see, my Q-step is actually on that stand, and I'll get to that in a minute. I like it because during the day I can open up that window, I get lots of light, and then I've got two lamps kind of on either side right there. I also really want to get an aught light that I can put and hang over this chair, but that's a future project. So here we go. This stand it's called a Stitchmate. It is no longer in production, which is very sad. My mom got this for me. Somebody was selling theirs. The gentleman who makes these is no longer alive, sadly, and so they are no longer being made. However, it is an amazing stand. If you ever can find one that is being sold, it's amazing. It's very sturdy. It's all handmade. It's got, you know, this whole stand leg system there to keep it standing, which is great. The thing that I love the most about it, and here's what I will show you. Okay, so right here, it's got this little tray that I sort of have just my little scraps. I've got some lotion, my scissors. This technically you could put a like you could put a little stand, you know, for a chart or whatever in there, but I don't really do that. I just sort of use it as another place to keep threads and things. And all of these little knobs control parts. Like this can swivel around, this can move around however you want it. When I'm stitching, obviously this turns this way so that it's right in front of me where I am. This, every single one of these little things can move exactly how you need it to be so that you can have it more like this. This arm right here loosens a little bit. Actually, no, that's not what loosens. This loosens right here, and this can come out. So that's really cool if you need it to come out more in your lap. So let me sit down. Okay, so let's try this again. The thing I wanted to show, and it's just really quick, is this, because of how this is set, you can flip this over and get to the back of it. So when you need to weave in ends, it does that for you. Or it just flips for you, so you don't have to, it makes it easy. Most stands don't do that, but this does, which is fabulous. So this is the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery pattern that is the new one. And I'm still working on January, but it's okay. I'm enjoying it. And yeah, I think that's it. Another thing that I do that I will mention is I have just started, because I got this about a year ago, this stand for Christmas, but I really have just started using it a bunch this year, or more this year. So I'm teaching myself to stitch using two hands. So my left hand pulls the needle through, and then my right hand actually stays underneath here to pull the needle down, so that I don't have to keep switching my hand on top of and then underneath the Q-snap, which I find quite helpful and helps speed up the stitching process as well. So anyway, I hope that answered some questions for those of you that had questions. As you can see, this is kind of my view from here. But yeah, so I hope that helped. Put any questions in the comments and I will be happy to answer them. Thanks, guys. Hope you enjoyed it.